gorgeous. Welcome back to part 2 of our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap. So one thing that happened that you should know is that Jenny gets kicked out because she's a racist. Old tweets were dug up of her saying horrible things about BLM and she's kicked off the show. She tries to blame it on her intern and then she does like the cringiest things.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. I'm here to stand up against discrimination. It is so important to remember that America is a melting pot made up of all different cultural backgrounds. Only positivity and coming together can we win in the long run.
Fuck you. I did not say I don't like black people.
Oh my god. Oh hell no, man. What the fuck?
No more Jenny, bye. This is already so chaotic. If you didn't catch part 1, let me tell you, that was seasons 1 and 2. Now I'm recapping seasons 3 and 4. So go watch the first video if you haven't. So at the season 2 tell-all, Jen and Meredith had reconciled and now they're like on good terms. Finally. And one thing they start bonding over is talking shit on Lisa. Because Lisa dropped that whole hot mic moment where she calls Meredith a piece of shit garbage whore, Meredith seeks friendship with Jen and with Whitney. She goes to both of their houses on private events and Meredith does this really cool thing where she starts dropping hints. Like she's like, have you heard the rumors about Lisa? Of course, Whitney's like, yes! Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought this up. I've heard so many things about her and gets so hyped up. Jen just kind of like casually engages because honestly, season 3 Jen is elite. She knows she's going to jail, so her perspective on things is just so much better. She's like actually tolerable. It's pretty amazing. So in Meredith's shady quest for hate against Lisa Barlow, she finds an SEC filing that Lisa and her husband put out for Jack and Henry Spirits, which I don't know if that's the parent company of all their companies or if it was something they were trying to start, but they were trying to crowdfund for $25,000. And Meredith, of course, is like, well, I'm not saying they're broke, but I am saying that at this stage in my life, I wouldn't crowdfund for $25,000. Jen has another birthday party for Sharif that is thrown by new character Angie K. Let me get her up. Angie K is a longtime friend of Jen Shah's and that's how she's kind of pulled into this. Angie K owns an empire of hairstylist schools and products and it's hard to explain. I don't care that much, honestly. I'm gonna say it right now, like she's very irrelevant to me, no offense. Basically, she throws Sharif's birthday party, and then at this birthday party, Meredith and Lisa's husbands come together and they know that shit is not good between these two, so the husbands are so awkward. They're like, so what our wives do, it doesn't affect us, right? We can still be pals, right? And it's like so awkward. Then there's another party, and I couldn't even tell you what this party was because there's so many goddamn parties. Lisa's like eating her humble pie because what she said about Meredith in season 2 was so ridiculously mean.
Meredith can go f herself. I'm done with her because I'm not a whore and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and a dumb family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Wait, you can't because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes?
So she kind of wants to apologize to Meredith. Meredith is really dismissive, so she goes to Seth and she apologizes to Seth, her husband. Seth is sitting there like a hostage. He's like, yeah, well, it was pretty hard for my kids to hear that. I don't think I'm ready to, I don't know what my wife wants me to say to you, basically. And Meredith's pissed because she's like, Lisa has had 2.5 months to apologize to me. She's just doing this because it's awkward when we're together right now. So, I don't know what the truth is. Then Meredith hangs out with Whitney, and Meredith drops this rumor that Lisa is sleeping with people in high places to get Vita tequila placed in more liquor stores and bars, which is so psycho. Oh my gosh. But then Whitney's like, well, I haven't heard that rumor, but I have heard a rumor that she has slept around to get courtside jazz tickets. Like, who is sleeping around for jazz tickets? That's crazy to me. She goes Detective Whitney mode and she runs with it. She loves to play little Nancy Drew and it's so annoying. But then Whitney's a little bit conflicted because she usually hates Lisa, but her energy healer is like, there's gotta be a reason you're so obsessed with her. So she's like, wow, because my energy healer told me I need to become best friends with Lisa Barlow.
What the fuck?
There's a reason she bugs me so much. It's because I love her. Such a weird what? Then we find out that Lisa's son thinks he's too good for college because his parents started him Fresh Wolf, which is a men's hair care product. Again, I would do anything to know these people's net worths. anything. So Jen's about to go on trial, so the girls do another last hurrah trip, which of course Whitney makes sure that it includes even more energy healing. A few days before the trip, Whitney learned some really hard things about her past, and she has trauma that she's working through. But she kind of like, I don't want to sound bad saying this, but she does kind of make the Jen trip about her for the first night, and is like telling everybody about the stuff she just learned, and it really like kills the mood, and it's, oh. Obviously, I feel bad for her, and I can't say anything bad about what just happened to her, and everybody works through their stuff in different ways, but like, oh my gosh, she makes the dread trip about her. And then Heather calls her out on that, and she is so pissed. Then these two get into it once again, and Meredith is so funny. She's like, maybe if you want to be friends with me, you should seek professional help. You need to find yourself, and maybe once we can have a normal reaction, then I'd consider a friendship. So she basically tells her, bitch, I won't be friends with you until you get therapy. And I think that's so funny. Then after all that, these two finally apologize, but they're still totally on edge with each other. There's no trust, except they're working on building a bridge, as they say. Whitney feels like Meredith is tricking her into doing all the dirty work. She thinks that Meredith wants her to start spreading all the rumors that Meredith slightly alluded to, which I do think Meredith kind of plays that game. And because she is like really smart, and she's really not. She's like so dumb. Oh my gosh. It makes me feel bad for her. But she starts like yapping again like a little dog. She's like, Meredith, you want me to do all this? I'm gonna go tell everybody what you do. You spin a web of lies, and you want me to do all the dirty work, and you drop these little rumors, and you expect me to spread them. And I'm like, because you fucking do every time, girl. So Whitney's on this quest to earn Lisa's favor. So in part of that quest, she basically goes to Lisa and tells her everything bad that they said about her. So this totally like pulls down Heather's name and makes Heather look so bad. So Heather's like, of course we said bad things about Lisa. That was like our thing. Why are you airing this out? You're making us look so dumb. Why would you do that? I told you that in confidence. A lot of these problems I could even see myself getting in, because like every girl talks shit. Like when you get mad at somebody, I'm so mad at her for XYZ. But if I knew that every time I said something like that, it got reported back to the person, oh, that would be terrifying. Everybody talks shit, so the show is like, I can't imagine being on the show. I would not last a day. Whitney gets super drunk and she's like, Lisa, I want to tell you that everybody here says that you gave so-and-so a blowjob to get Jazz tickets. Lisa's like, no, what? Who is saying this? This is crazy. She's like, Heather, verify this story. And Heather's like, I've never heard that in my life. That's literally crazy. And so then she flips on Heather even more, and she's like, Heather, you are a bad friend, and you are a gaslighter. And you are why I have trauma, because people never believe me, and I'm so triggered. And she like storms off to her room. Oh, it's such a nightmare. She tears up like this card that Heather had given her and threw it in Heather's room. She is just acting like a child. It's ridiculous. I mean, Heather even goes to the lengths of calling Angie H, who they were with, to confirm or deny the story. And Angie H is like, why would Lisa do that? That is like the most crazy thing to even give attention to, because it's so fake. And Whitney's worked up about it. She's like, I know you're lying, and I know that that's the truth of the rumor that was going around, but if you're gonna say you didn't say that, then whatever. Jen's trial gets postponed, I think for the first time. And she is freaking out because there's this account called Shah Exposed that is coming down hard on her. And she suspects it's Angie H. We soon after find out that it's Angie H's husband, who is like in his mid-50s, like a millionaire. Like, why is he getting involved? Jen Shah does the funniest thing, and she says her fat fucking elf on the shelf husband created that account, which is like such a weird thing to do as a man in his 50s. By the way, he created the account to come for Lisa Barlow, not for Jen, but just I think for it to look legit, he wanted to call it Shah Exposed, so it wasn't just for Lisa, if that makes sense. But obviously the Shah family is extra triggered by this, because it's like, don't be spreading bad stuff about our name when she's literally on trial. You know, Whitney and Justin have this horrible scene, I think in season 2, where they're like doing sexy body painting time. It's so cringeworthy and gross. Basically, he gets fired from his job because that scene is so cringy. But she turns it into this whole thing of like, you have a successful wife and your company didn't like to see it, and that's just Utah in a nutshell. And I'm like, Okay, is Utah sexist? 100%. Oh my goodness. But would any company want to see one of their C-suite executives having dirty paint time on Bravo? I think that would get a lot of people fired, and I think that's reasonable. During the season 2 reunion, Heather had claimed that Lisa wasn't supportive during the death of her father, but Lisa did the totally wrong thing, and she was like digging up screenshots of their messages and the obituary of when he died and trying to prove that she was right, which you don't do that. Oh my goodness. And she posted it on Twitter, so they obviously are just like not having it. They hate each other right now, so that's a storyline. Heather's also working on writing her Bad Mormon memoir book. She's also opening a second beauty lab in Laser, and she is very stressed out because both projects are falling behind. But instead of catching up on those projects, you know what she does? She goes, I'm starting a choir. This is crazy. You see literally a clip of her publisher being like, Heather, everybody is so mad at you, they might drop you because you are so behind on every single deadline. And she's like, I'm sorry, and then it does a cutaway to like choir auditions. What a weird ass storyline for her. I still can't get over that they included that. It like doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Lisa decides that she wants to mend things with Heather, and the way she does this is she shows up to Heather's choir auditions, which I think is really a good gesture, because who actually wants to do that? Because this is reality TV, they have to all sing like a 20-second clip of a copyright-free song, so they all sing like Amazing Grace or like When the Saints Go Marching In, and Lisa Barlow sings the most iconic moment of Away in a Manger to her own notes. She invented it. It slays so hard. Insert clip.
Away in a manger, no crib for his bed.
Yes.
The little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the heaven looked down where he lay. And little Lord Jesus, no crying he made. Is that it?
Yeah, Mr. Barlow, that's beautiful.
Then we meet newcomer Dana, who I have no idea who she's involved with or how she's connected to this, but she's at the choir auditions, and she takes that time to tell Jen that she's ridiculous and a bully, and it really starts shit. So Dana is not invited to the Last Hurrah Jen girls trip, but of course she shows up anyway. Basically, like every trip the girls go on this season is a Last Hurrah Jen girls trip, but her trial keeps getting postponed, so they keep doing more of them. This trip is hosted by Jen, but because she's in financial ruin from her trial and legal fees, Angie K offers to provide the housing for this trip. So Angie takes the girls to this place, I think it's in like Southern California, I can't remember, but she tours the house, and then she's like, and this is my room, and it's the most gorgeous big room in the house, and Jen is on the spot, angry, like visibly, like she's holding in her anger, because all the girls know that every trip Jen Shah gets the best room. The fact that they just like live by that rule is like, they're all so weird to Jen, and I don't know why. Angie finishes the tour of the house, and Jen is pissed because Jen thinks she is the top dog, she's the host of the trip, so she pours a glass of champagne on Angie K's head in front of everyone for no reason.
Let's do this. Are you serious, Jen? Yeah, I'm serious.
She tries to act like it was like a joke, but nobody laughs. She doesn't even laugh. Like it was clearly she just needed to let out some anger for the fact that Angie K took the best room. So then the girls go on a boat ride activity, and this is where Jen Shah just decides to go completely unhinged. She starts out by freaking out on Lisa. She shoves her, she throws a veggie tray overboard. She's so pissed at Angie K at this point that she literally throws Angie's designer shoes overboard.
Are these yours?
Those shoes are not mine.
Are they yours?
They're not mine.
Great!
Angie K feels super disrespected by Jen for obvious reasons, and she drops a bombshell that when she hosted Sharif's birthday, Jen made it cost $15,000, and she didn't get a payment, and she didn't get a thank you card. So Angie is understandably so pissed at that. I mean, at least a thank you. But what's crazy is that by the end of the night, all the women are at dinner, and Jen says, you know what, Angie K is the only loyal one here. Girl, what? Dana's on the trip and she'll pipe in and stir up a little bit, but like honestly, she's so irrelevant. This was like the worst casting decision of all time. Then the girls do a Marilyn Monroe party, and I actually love that concept. They all looked so good in those blonde wigs. And let me tell you that Heather and Jen get absolutely shit-faced, like out of their minds. They're running around topless, things are getting freaky. So the night progresses, they all stay up until like 4:30 in the morning, and it's just like wild. Then Heather wakes up to a giant black eye, and she texts Jen and is like, come over. And they're like, what are we gonna do? What should we tell everybody happened? And they come up with many different lies. They can't get their story straight to tell everybody what's happening to her eye. It's a spider bite, then she fell, then she can't remember, then she says, you guys all know what happened, but I just don't want to tell you. It's very confusing, but she does the funniest thing, and Heather says, you know what, I'm just gonna hang out with Lisa today because Lisa will only talk about herself and not ask me more about my eye. So this entire season, Meredith has continually been talking about the SEC filing she found about Lisa's family business. And finally, Angie tells Lisa that this is happening, and Lisa's obviously pissed. So dinner is so awkward because Whitney's like, who talked about Lisa's SEC filing? Raise your hand. Like, why would you do that? So there's this explosive fight over that. Then Dana chimes in finally and is like, Jen, I know somebody who's an informant for the FBI and they're collecting data on you and I just want you to know. So of course Jen is like, well, if you're gonna bring it up, you better tell me who it is. And Dana's like, legally I can't do that. And so Jen blows up and it's this whole thing. Then somebody else has a stupid party for their brand and Jen and Coach attend. And they have a check for $15,000 written up to hand to Angie and her husband, and it's so awkward. And Coach Shah is so nice. He's like, we weren't aware that we had to pay for a party that you offered to host, and we never want you to feel bad or that we are freeloading off you. So here's your check for $15,000. I hope this resolves things. And you can tell that Angie K and her husband are like, ooh, this is so awkward. It's hilarious, great TV. But then a breath later, Angie K starts being messy. She starts talking to everybody about why she thinks that Heather's eye is black and blue. These two were doing Barbie scissor kicks, doing some girl on girl shit, and things got messy and they started fighting. That's her theory. And then she gets mad at Jen for something else and she goes up to Sharif and she's like, is it even true that Jen tried to actually... Because Jen had said that a few episodes earlier. And Sharif is like, whoa, that's a disgusting thing to say. Why would you say that? What is wrong with you? And they storm out, which fair enough. I can't believe I did not like her after she said that because weird. Then Jen finally approaches her trial and Heather and Meredith are the ones to support her in New York City while she's going through all this, which is so confusing to me because Meredith was never friends with Jen. So I have no idea why Meredith's there. Now we're to the season 3 tell-all. I honestly didn't like season 3. I thought season 3 was kind of a flop because they tried too hard to introduce the new characters and none of them were good. And Mary was gone for the season because they pulled out like rumors of her church and she didn't want to be, I don't know. But season 3 weak. I would not watch season 3 again. I didn't like it. Meredith explains that part of the rift in their friendship is not just the garbage trash whore hot mic moment. It's also because Lisa had unfollowed her on Instagram and she took that personally, which when you're 50, I don't think you should look into that. But maybe when you're 50 and a public figure and Instagram matters to you, maybe, I don't know. Also, Lisa posted screenshots of their text messages to clear her name. Lisa, you gotta stop doing this. Meredith takes the time to apologize to Lisa for alluding to rumors, to digging up SEC filings, to participating in gossip. Okay, this is the one iconic Dana moment, being a Utah girl. Dana gets mad at Jen for making fun of her for living in Tooele, which I think is so funny because Tooele really does suck so bad. But Heather does the most to hide what we all know about the black eye, and she starts crying when Andy Cohen confronts her and is like, okay, what is the truth about your eye? You've said so many different things. And she's like, it's just Mormon shame. I'm just so embarrassed that I let myself get drunk and I can't talk about it, and it's just really hard because of how I was raised. She's just spiraled. It's so pathetic because we all know that Jen totally did that shit and she's going to links to clear her name. So now we get to move on to season 4 and guess who gets to go away? No more Jen. Homegirl's going to prison. I'm pretty sure Dana's gone for season 4, Irrelevant Queen. Angie H just fades into obscurity. And this is our season 4. Oh wait, there's more. Monica Garcia Delgado Darnell, whatever her last name is. So Monica basically starts the season as like the people's princess. I am kind of obsessed. She is a 38-year-old divorcee. She has a small business. She has 4 daughters, and it kind of seems like she's hanging on by a thread. That's also the name of Meredith's podcast that she does this season that I won't talk about because it's boring. She's involved in this series because she was formerly an assistant of Jen's, but then she became an informant for the FBI. Crazy, right? Basically, Lisa's son, Jack Barlow, decides to go on a mission without telling her, which is kind of a big deal. I think he just didn't want to go to college, and the parents were pushing it on him so hard that he felt like that was the only option to not do that, but I don't know. Meredith just immediately at the very beginning of the season decides that she is furious at Whitney because in some sort of interview or something, Whitney made a joke about how Meredith always has cringy scenes with her husband in the bathtub. And Meredith is so pissed about this. She marches up to Whitney and she's just trying to start stuff, talking about like, I don't know if we can have a friendship if you're going to say things like I'm disgusting because I bathe with my husband. Another reason I like Monica is because she's so relatable. Like she spends the first half of the season talking about how it's hard to be around like the top 1% of women in Utah when she's like barely skating by. We also learn a lot about her abusive relationship with her mom, and honestly it's the only time that there's been like an emotional subplot that I've actually cared about. Also, she lives like 10 minutes away from my parents' house. I think that's so cool. Meredith wants a clean slate and a new beginning with all the ladies. So she does a trust trip for everybody at the Trixie Motel. After this trip is announced, Whitney and Angie K get together for dinner, and Angie K finds out that she's not invited on the trip. So Whitney's like, you know what? I'm just gonna bring you with me. I can never fathom being willing to go on a trip I wasn't invited to. Like that is so ballsy. Not only does she bring a +1, she also decides that she's going to be extra deceitful and go on a separate flight. Anyway, the rest of the women travel in a group, and unfortunately, Lisa loses a $60,000 ring at the airport.
Did anybody see you
in the bathroom? Because Lisa's got completely unburned. She went out with her pants off.
Monica, do you see it? Can you help me?
They spend 40 minutes looking for it, and she cannot stop saying, my $60,000 ring.
I don't think that ring was worth that. First off, I don't think it's worth $60,000.
So the women arrive to the Trixie Motel, and they see that not only is Whitney there, but Angie K is also there. And they're like, okay, rude. Everybody's expecting Meredith to have a blow up at Angie K and Whitney, but Meredith is clearly on her airplane benzos and she doesn't care. She's just like, oh, that's rude. But like totally minds her business. It's hilarious. So since the whole theme of this trip is trust building, they do an activity where they have to pair up with somebody who they've not been getting along with recently and dress each other. So Heather and Whitney are paired and Mary and Monica are paired. They get along just fine, but we didn't know what to do with them because they're new. And Meredith and Lisa are paired. These two are hilarious. Mary just decides she'll dress both of them. Heather dresses Whitney in the most ridiculous outfit. Meredith dresses Lisa like literally in a skimpy skirt with like jingle beads and a mesh top. Like Meredith was out to get Lisa on that one. And Angie K's not in a group. She dresses herself because Meredith didn't know she was gonna be there. Angie spends this whole trip being insufferable trying to make herself a victim, but it's like, how could she have planned gift bags and t-shirts and activities if she didn't know you were coming? And Whitney's supporting her in this random outrage. It's Angie is just trying to give herself a storyline so hard. Even Monica, who is Angie K's friend, calls her out for it. So they all get their horrible outfits and they go to this nice dinner, which by the way, Lisa is having a panic attack that she's wearing an ugly outfit in a nice dinner. Finally at dinner, we get Meredith's blow up at Angie. I don't even know what they fight about, but it gets so good because Meredith is clearly she's not with it. And she goes, you
can leave.
Oh my God.
I'm not leaving, Meredith. Don't say that.
Damn. Excuse me, sir. Could we get security, please? Get security. She refuses to leave.
I'm gonna tell you what.
I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Excuse me. She needs to leave. I'm the hostess of the dinner, and her behavior is not acceptable. I'd like for her to leave.
I'll do whatever I can.
Then Meredith storms off and meets up with Lisa, and she says, if Angie K wants to go there, all the rumors and nastiness, If you want to talk about husband, I can go there. So basically she makes a threat that she knows rumors and nastiness about Angie K's husband. She tells this to Lisa because somehow Meredith is sitting on so much tea. But this is kind of left, they move on, it's the next day. Trixie hosts a drag night and Lisa Barlow is so mad about this that she has a crying fit because she wants her own makeup artist to do her makeup. She does not want to be doing her own and she does not want to be wearing clown makeup, so she's pissed. Whitney and Monica start picking up on the rumors and nastiness that Meredith was talking about. And they start filling in the blanks. They think that the rumor she's talking about is that Angie K's husband is gay and sleeping around with other men. But like, come on. Attractive, fit male hairdresser in Utah. I'm sure he's had those accusations thrown at him for his entire career. Mary's son secretly gets married.
So Robert Jr. has a girlfriend, but everyone's telling me it's his wife. So we're gonna have to figure that one out.
You haven't asked him?
I haven't had a chance.
You live in the same house.
And she has the best one-liners in this season. I'm trying to just go through major plot points right now, but it's worth the watch.
Yeah, they're very old judgmental self. She has the snobbiness of a true Mormon. She don't even know she's looking bread.
You don't? No. I'm not talking to you. Like do you have a mute button? No, I don't. Well, you need to get one.
Okay, you said this and you told me.
And I'm like,
Heather finds out that Lisa's son is going on a mission and she thinks that she should be involved in that decision and she's like getting really mad about it. It's really weird. And like, Heather, you live in Utah. Do you need to be consulted about all of your friends who have children going on missions? Because you'd be real fucking busy if that were the case, queen. Angie K is not only mad at Meredith for alluding to the rumors, but she's also mad at Monica because Monica really added in the blanks. She really accentuated this by adding in that it was what the rumor was. So they get into a fight at Angie K's family Easter party and there are children there. It's really loud. Randomly, Monica's mom swoops in and starts defending Angie instead of her, and Monica and her mom have a horrible relationship. So this like triggers her to no end. Lisa sees this and she perceives it as Monica being rude to her mom, and she gets a really bad taste in her mouth about Monica and totally says some nasty shit about her. She's like, she's so rude to her mom. How could you speak to your mother like that? That's disgusting. Not knowing that Monica's mom is totally abusive. So Monica obviously finds out that Lisa's been talking shit like this and she's super triggered. So the women want to go on a trip to Bermuda, but Heather decides they need to have a peacemaking lunch before they can go to Bermuda to make sure everybody's on good terms. So Heather has this weird pioneer hat lunch.
Imagine you're on a wagon train. You're crossing the plains. The oxen are worn. You're at winter's quarters. The snow, an early winter storm has come in.
And it was too heavy and we had to get one person off. Who would you kick off? So Lisa immediately goes,
well, I'm a big supporter of women, so I would keep everyone but the one that's the nastiest to women. So Monica, you would have to go.
So this sparks like an intense fight between Lisa and Monica, like unhinged. And then all of a sudden, everybody starts ganging up on Monica and telling her to shut up, even though they were equally engaged in the fight. So she gets really triggered and is crying and is not down. But Heather's just like, Monica, you gotta put up with this and get through this lunch because I want us to announce that we're planning a Bermuda trip together. She's like not in the vibes. She just sits there sulking while Heather does the announcement. And Monica's like, I don't even wanna go. You guys just totally ganged up on me. So Monica ends up hanging out with Mary, and Mary actually has good wisdom. She's like, Monica, you just gotta move on because it sounds like you're both in the wrong here and you just can't hold on to it. So Monica takes that advice and her and Lisa begin to patch things up. Whitney has a friend pass away from cancer, which is so sad, but she still decides to attend Meredith's jewelry launch party that evening. So she's at this jewelry launch party, super sensitive, super triggered, and Lisa just kind of doesn't know how to navigate that. So Lisa goes up to her and like wishes her well, but for some reason, Whitney does not think she was supportive enough and empathetic enough. Whitney totally unleashes on Lisa. For the rest of the season, Whitney hates Lisa once again. Meredith and Monica get together and they're talking about these weird DMs they're getting that allude to Angie K being in a Greek mob. So ridiculous. I don't even understand why they let these rumors breathe. why even bring it up? Because that's so outlandish and weird. The thing is, Jen Shah's job didn't make sense, so I can understand maybe being sus about that. Even Lisa Barlow's company kind of doesn't make sense, so I'd be sus about that. But like, she is like legit. So these two start spreading the Angie K and the mob rumors around the group, and everybody's just getting pissed at them for doing so. They're in Bermuda, and Monica's goal is to go see her estranged family, but her mom calls the estranged family she's supposed to meet up with and cancels plans. And that's so mean. Monica's mom is so shitty. It's so sad. Everybody starts formulating their own conspiracies about these weird DMs and rumors that everybody's hearing. And because Meredith has been linked to like 3 of these issues, they all assume it's Meredith, which I feel like is valid. I would too, because she's always closely connected to these things. By the way, Heather launches her Bad Mormon book and it becomes a New York bestseller. Way to be, Heather. Basically, Whitney is like one of the only ones in the group that decides to read it. She brings it to the island, reads it, and decides she has beef with Heather for the way that Heather wrote about her in the book. Apparently Heather wrote like a little teeny tiny vignette about she used to be a photographer and Whitney came in as a client and she took boudoir pictures of her. And for some reason, Whitney is so mad about this. She says that Heather exploited her sexuality for financial gain, which is ridiculous because literally 10 minutes before this in the episode, she's talking about all the different crazy things her husband does in bed with detail. I'm just being polite, but so much detail. She like invents this beat. And Heather's even like, I called you. I sent you the part you were in and I read it to you. You approved it over and over again. I don't understand why you're mad. And she's like, it's funny that you can get mad at us for asking you questions about this kind of stuff, but you can write a whole thing about my vagina? And she's like, I did not write about your vagina. Like, it was kind of just a story about how they met. Like, it was so tame. Whitney is like nails on a chalkboard to me because she does this stuff. It's so intolerable. Lisa hops in the mob against Meredith because Lisa, even though these two made up, Lisa's still pissed that Meredith ever tried to make it look like she was in trouble filing for the SEC thing. She's like, it was totally Meredith. She is such a bitch. I've always hated her. She's always done shady stuff like this. Da 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 da. But in a shocking turn of events, Heather starts doing research about what are all these rumors and gossip and conspiracies and these T accounts DMing people. What is happening? She researches. She finds out that Monica is behind it all. So she gathers all the OGs on the beach and she tells them what went down. And they decide to confront Monica all in a group at dinner. And it totally goes down. This is where we get the iconic receipts,
proof, timeline, screenshots, everything to prove that you are a bully and a troll.
And she admits to it, but she says that it's not just her running the account. It's her and 6 other people. One of them being Tanisha, who is Heather's hairstylist. And I think Heather still has her on payroll. Also, this is so funny, but I literally met Tanisha while Heather was filming a confessional because I was filming something in the same building and I was like being super friendly with Tanisha. She's like really cool. Like, I'm shocked she's behind this because Tanisha is like really a chill girl. I was like, what? Like, that just like threw me off. Tanisha's sick. I don't know why she did this, but I think it's kind of funny. And I don't know why she's still Heather's hairstylist if this really all did go down. It's kind of mind-blowing. Now we're to the season 4 reunion. I feel like the reunion was such a flop for how amazing season 4 was. Like, season 4, like every episode had me laughing out loud. There were so many great moments. The drama was so great. So for the reunion to be a flop is weird to me. Basically, we find out that Monica's mom was on Twitter trashing her the entire season. The girls all freaking hate Monica right now. Keep that in mind. But her and Andy Cohen kind of review the abusive relationship that she has for her mom, and the girls have like half a moment of sympathy and then they get back to grilling her to death. Like, apparently on unseen footage, she falls down the stairs at Angie K's Greek Easter party and then she live tweeted that she was gonna sue. And I mean, clearly that's a joke, but the girls all get mad over it and bring it up as receipts, proof, evidence, timeline. Monica admits that she was working for Jen Shah for free because she kind of wanted to have her Kim Kardashian moment of getting famous off that, which, I mean, iconic. She hustled to be on this season and we love a working class woman. what can I say? Keep in mind, like, she played a huge part in sending Jen Shah to jail, so the women are really mad about that because they did so much to defend Jen and keep her out of jail. I can understand if this account trashed me, but if this account trashed a criminal, it's like, it's kind of great. Like, what? I honestly think Monica's still kind of valid. That's probably an unpopular opinion, but she was the best character this season. Mary hates everybody on the cast, and when asked about it, she says, I only called Heather inbred because one, it's true. And I mean it. And two, because she said my house was decorated eccentrically. Then she basically tells Whitney that Whitney hasn't said anything racist, but just gives off a racist vibe. A few thoughts from part 3 of the reunion. They finally get Heather to admit that Jen Shah gave her the black eye, and Andy kind of eats her up and is like, oh, okay, so you were just okay blaming it on production? You literally put people's jobs on the line, made them look so bad, and we all know you kind of just did this to sell your book, and why were you so obsessed with protecting a criminal who scammed thousands of old people? Andy kind of ate with that, and Heather just kind of swallows it. Heather was so annoying in part 3 of the reunion, ew, but then she spins it into just going after Monica relentlessly. So again, it's like, why were you a little lapdog for a literal criminal, but Monica makes an account saying a few bad things about the said criminal, and Monica is the villain? So Andy gives Monica a chance to like say she's sorry, and he's like, do you have anything to say? And she's like, no. So basically she got fired, but they did it in a way that they gave her a lot of publicity, so a lot of people are speculating that Monica will be back soon. Also, Tanisha's name has been cleared. She actually has some crazy clips on TikTok clarifying that she was really not that involved with the account. Also, she says that she stopped working on the account as soon as she started becoming Heather Gay's stylist. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please subscribe. If you love this video, share my channel with a friend because it really does help. Bye!